I came here to the beach to find a way to escape. I've been thinking about a decade of my life, looking back to where it all started for me. And the way I found a connection to being out in nature was a way that helped me disconnect from myself. It gave me an opportunity to see differently, think differently, and focus on a new way of mental health. Finding an evocative object really allows me to think about the contents of what it is and where it came from. I've been working in glass since 2016. I had an opportunity to attend a summer studies program with Oregon College of Art and Craft, and this introduced me to glass. It was a very wonderful experience, being out in nature and connecting and exploring. 2 years later, I attend Penland School of Craft on a student scholarship, learning pâte de verre from the glass master Alicia Lamne. I noticed that pâte de verre wasn't a popular process, so that's what drew my interest. Since then, I've been incorporating those techniques into my studies. After graduation, I started to push the idea of pâte de verre and its possibilities further into sculptural objects about my military experiences. Previously in my military thought, those types of objects were not only evocative, but they brought me into the dark corners, those dark areas of mental health and access to the realities of war. I connect to those areas of thought and memory because of the work, and it takes me to a mental space to focus and kind of hyper-focus on those difficult areas that not really many people want to access. Digging through past memories that were related to military, it kept me in a dark place, thinking about not only what I experienced, but what others went through and experienced. The idea of packing away and pushing problems into these dark areas, firing them in the kiln, taking a mold and divesting out and exposing this piece of glass. Like that whole entire process allows me to manifest those mental health spaces, burn them away, put those memories to rest, and reinvigorate the work with something new. After graduation in 2019, I was working with Center for Craft on the Wingate Lamar Fellowship, and I had a lot of excitement moving forward into the future, progressing my academics into the graduate space, earning a degree at Virginia Commonwealth University. We were dealing with a pandemic, and I was also having difficulty with my medical health program in the VA. So both of those things put a wedge in the opportunity of moving into my master's program. That put me into a place of depression where I had no hope for my future. And the longer the pandemic kept going, the further I fell into the idea that art was over for me. This new work is getting me out into nature and finding objects that create an intangible way of thinking. I don't know what it is yet. I'm trying to pull out these images, these feelings from a new object, and I have to think about what that looks like beyond the first impression. So I like to take the work and think about it, recontextualize these ideas over and over again, because the more I start to exclusively understand this new kind of object that's talking about positivity, enjoyment, the healthy parts of life, these are newfound experiences that really excite me into taking the hard parts and making them refreshing. I love working with glass because it's different than the materials I've worked with throughout my life. There's a lot of opportunity with color, ways to move and make with the material. Metal's very difficult to be creative with originally in comparison to glass in my mind. So it allows me a platform to be more creative than I have been. The skills are very transferable to glass from sheet metal. The hammering, the grinding, they're very similar, but just different materials and different ways of using the tool. The way it looks, the way it's used, right? The metal is very robust, it's industrial. You get the idea of structure, invincibility, permanent. For me, the idea of those things resonate, but it doesn't give me the ability to create. When I use glass, it becomes a sense of fragility, supporting a narrative that's fragile. So metal doesn't allow that opportunity for me to do those things. And I connect with glass because it helps me survive. It helps me understand the balance between strong and rigid and also soft and gentle. There's this juxtaposition that does happen for me that I'm learning how to exploit within my work. The thing that connects me most to art is working with the people around me. They're like people I've never met before, and they've embraced me in the community, and I feel a part of them more than I feel a part of anything else now. My name is Goffrey Bowton, and I'm a glass artist and sculptor.